Hey guys, I'm Arabdha and you're watching Halborn Flash Videos. Our today's guest is Access Protocol. We're joined in by Mika, who's the founder of Access. So Mika, first of all, welcome to this conversation and thanks for making the time to join us.
Happy to be here.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your story?
I've been like a crypto hobbyist for a long time, in a way where followed it like on the side while I was studying computer science and sort of like tinkered around with doing different like small DeFi applications and things like liquidity mining calculators when that started and that sort of thing. Through that, I ended up at the block working on the research side, just like doing research on L1s, DeFi, and building out their data infrastructure. And then from there, I jumped to Verify Capital, which is a crypto fund that invests in like sort of is an investor in a lot of the sort of blue chip names like Uniswap, etc. In the space, and did like some of their liquid investing side and also their data and technology side. And yeah, from there I jumped to Access Protocol, which I guess we'll talk about more. But I think a lot of these ideas that we had during my time at the block on how we would like sort of work on the block's business model in a very Web3 native way, those sort of were the inspiration behind how like Access Protocol was built.
Yeah, great. So you have been quite a crypto native for a while. Is there something that, like you look back and you can tell other crypto natives as a piece of advice that you possibly would have given to yourself?
I think I would have wished to jump in earlier, like full time, not just like following things. It's a lot more fun to just really be inside the industry and working within it, and sort of being able to make that leap from it's just being something that you're interested in to something you can actually work on. Especially nowadays, I think the opportunities are sort of more easy to approach in a way, where the industry used to be a lot smaller and that sort of thing. So I think yeah, I would have just like had the bravery to jump in kind of sooner and work more on all these things.
Yeah, I guess the best way to learn is also like get your hands dirty and actually tinker with things. Great. So tell us a bit about Access Protocol. What is it all about? How did you guys get on this journey of getting this started?
And so Access Protocol, now right now we're a very small team of six, and we're working on basically a new way to monetize digital media. So the kind of everyone sort of on the periphery seems to know about the kind of problem here, but uh, when digital media publications like sort of New York Times or Bloomberg, when they monetize, they
Right.
use advertisements, which is poor like user experience, and you can also get baited into sort of content that's like advertisement based, or then you have subscriptions. And sort of
Mm.
what we're working on is really meant to like replace and augment that subscription side. So maybe the best thing to understand about consumer subscriptions for digital media publications is that they just don't sell, like no one wants to buy them. Even like the largest digital media publications like Bloomberg, The
Yeah.
Atlantic, those sorts of names, they tend to have like a 0.4% conversion rate or whatever on that kind of like the kind of 24.99 or whatever subscription per month that you pay. So no one really wants to pay that. And so yeah, we're tackling that problem. Um, Basically with like I think a lot of the approaches to tackle this problem use like NFTs or subscriptions in just like a Web3 wallet format, which I think is okay, but it's also very difficult because the publishers depend on like recurring revenue and blockchain transactions are like push transactions, uh,
Yeah.
especially from your wallet most of the time. So basically, what we have is this model where you stake this token ACS, and when you stake it, the creator and you both start receiving inflation rewards. And the way to think about that, I think, is like it's kind of like a financialization of the subscription, where instead of
Hmm.
paying for a service like you normally would, and this is something that doesn't convert, you instead own a part of this network and ecosystem that's related to the overall subscription demand still within like publications that we onboard and that sort of thing. So I think that's like the simple way to think about it.
Okay, so from what I understand, if I'm one of the users, I get my ACS token, I stake it, and now I'm a kind of like a stakeholder in the content ecosystem itself. And do I get any rewards apart from like having access to the content?
Yeah, so there's like an inflation reward that goes is split 50-50 between the creator and the user. And the way to think about that is it's not like we're printing money out of nothing in a way. It's just that when you stake the tokens and a part of that revenue stream goes to the creator, that means that that's sort of the creator's capturing value within the system, like over time. And the reason you're getting a reward is also that it incentivizes you to actually stake, so you can't like buy the token and not and sort of speculate on it without using it for its utility. And by staking it, you maintain sort of the maximum amount possible of your share of the network over time. So yeah, for the creator side, it's about like how they capture value there, and from the user side, it's about using the token what it's for and maintaining your share of the ownership of the network.
Okay, that's extremely interesting. And I saw that you're launching on Solana and Starknet. Are there any other chains that you're going on, and why did you specifically choose these two?
Yeah, so we're happy to go anywhere. Like the logic is we don't choose, the users kind of choose. And or maybe that's like half true in this case where um, like Solana has good integrations across exchanges and things like that. So you're able to get in and out. People sort of, a lot of people have phantom wallets. You're able to abstract quite a bit of the complexity to users
Right.
because it's interesting because we actually have like already potentially a very large audience to market to in a way where our paywall, for example, maybe we'll talk a bit about like our partnerships, but on, for example, the block and crypto briefing, those sites actually have like millions of monthly active users. So
Yeah.
there's technically an opportunity to get our protocol in front of a lot of people. It's just a sort of can we convert in a way through that paywall those users. So with that in sort of mind, Solana and Starknet have been the choices. From the Ethereum side, it's of course important to be part of like the Ethereum ecosystem. And to us, sort of qualitatively, we just think ZK rollups and particularly like the Starknet implementation is very, very cool. So we're sort of very excited to launch there when it's time.
Awesome, exciting. Now let's pivot back a little bit and talk about security. What's your security strategy? Like, what's your take on it? How did you start brainstorming about it? And we have a partnership ongoing, and we are auditing the Solana program. So how did that come about?
So I would say, and maybe this is just me hoping that it's uh, that what we're working on is good, but like I think the protocol itself is actually kind of very simple in a way for us, where we don't have external oracles. We just have like kind of this pool and this revenue split, and making sure that all the sort of software around that uh, is like secure is number one. We're very good, but also because we're actually kind of serving a real business case in a way, and we have publications, it's actually kind of difficult to also design the protocol. It's important to design a protocol in a way where we're able to do all the things we want,
Yeah,
but it remains sort of like in that simple way. So I think the first uh, approach to us is like simplicity around that, and then yeah, second is just like operationally and sort of through best practices, making sure that we're like checking, doing all the checks that we need to do, and sort of also really making sure that, for example, like Halborn, you guys in this case understand like our business case and can like reason about, okay, like is this kind of behavior okay, or this kind of behavior not. So yeah, I think it's about all those things.
okay. And how important do you think, like often we, when we talk to projects for what it is, we see that security is often treated as an afterthought. Do you also agree with that, or what is your take on that? And how did Access treat security as they were going around the creation of the protocol itself?
Yeah, I hope people aren't considering it like an afterthought anymore, because these things are sort of
Yeah,
so complex. And I think in a bull market everything goes well, but in a bear market you do test every single one of the adversarial uh, variations that could happen. Like they will all get tested in a way. So there's like no room. It's actually kind of better to be doing this now in a way where like you're not relying on overly optimistic assumptions about the thing, but you're really actually relying on the. So I think like being negative and worried in that case is like kind of a good attitude to have.
yeah,
And yeah, I think like maybe now like I don't know, maybe people are treating differently now, but now that they've seen like hacks and can understand like how complex
yeah.
they can be and how they can be not just like a bug, but like really an economic attack and things like that. They're a lot more worried. But yeah, I think like with the way we try to structure of the protocol also is just kind of very simple, right? It has these pools, you have these revenue splits, a couple of parameters around that, and just like keep it simple that way.
Okay, that's a lot of like architectural simplicity for sure. So for our viewers, would you like them to know about any milestones you guys are coming up with, any alpha to drop that they should be following in?
Yeah, so right now we're like working towards launch quite soon. Um, quite soon. So by the end of the year, basically we'll be launching. Um, and the thing to follow us like at Access Protocol on Twitter is just that we're continually announcing these publications and creators that we've onboarded onto the system. So we've already announced the block, Woo blockchain, crypto briefing, and crypto slate, but have like a bunch of other ones as well. And there's some interesting variations actually there. Not all are like just digital media publications, but there are some also uh, like charities and things like that. That it's interesting how that works out. I'm not sure, but it's an interesting test. So we'll be continually just releasing those names as we head into our launch, basically. So I think that's the main thing to follow.
All right, awesome. And just to end this conversation on a more fun note, any piece of advice that you can give out to the community, to other builders who are also working with content?
Yeah, I think for us, the kind of way we were able to approach it was because we, like a couple of members from our team worked at the block and we understood the business model quite well, where um, if you don't understand the problems of like creators and publications, and for us, like specifically publications in this case, I think it's like hard to approach from the outside. So I would say that like really, it's not just a technical solution where you're like, okay, you're able to set up a Web3 wallet and do subscription payments, but it's really understanding sort of pain points of a specific industry and then applying like a Web3 solution like after that.
All right, Mika, thank you so much for joining us in. This has been a great conversation. And if you guys have any questions, let us know in comments and we'll get back to you soon. Thank you.